दीपक जामदार, दीपक जामदार, दिव्या कुलकर्णी, गट प्रथमेश शिवाजी, ज्योति ओलेकर, किरण.
Yes, sir.
Jyoti is there? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Kiran Ligade, Kiran Ligade, Lakshmikant Kaloji, Lakshmikant Kaloji, Mantesh Patil, Mantesh Patil, Mole Prem, Mole Prem, Nagesh Dodshivannawar, Nagesh
Present, sir.
Dodshivannawar. Okay. Nandish TA.
Present, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Pooja Patil, Pooja Patil, प्रमोद कुमार हुंशाळ, प्रमोद कुमार हुंशाळ, प्रवीण शिवप्पा मगदुम, प्रवीण शिवप्पा मगदुम, प्रियंका, प्रियंका, प्रियंका इज देयर. संध्या शिरोडकर, संध्या शिरोडकर, संतोष पुजारी, संतोष पुजारी, संतोष सोनार, संतोष सोनार, शाबाज, शाबाज, शफिया जगदाळ.
Present, sir.
ओके. श्रीधर सोलकंडवर.
Yes, sir.
ओके. सृष्टि बर्मण्णवर, सृष्टि बर्मण्णवर, सिद्धार्थ वर्णेकर, सिद्धार्थ
Present,
वर्णेकर.
sir. Present, sir.
राइट राइट. सिद्धार्थ पाटिल, सिद्धार्थ पाटिल, सुप्रिया.
Present, sir.
ओके. वंदना केटगौडर, वंदना, वंदना इज देयर. वंदना. वसंत दोडमनी, वसंत दोडमनी, वेदत्ता कडपगोळा, वेदत्ता कडपगोळा, योगेश, योगेश, महेश दोडमनी, महेश दोडमनी, महेश, बाळेश मुडलगी, बाळेश मुडलगी, तैक मोहम्मद.
Yes, sir.
ओके. प्रवीण राठोड, प्रवीण राठोड.
Present, sir.
ओके.
Present, sir.
ओके ओके. अभिषेक पालेकर, अभिषेक पालेकर, ऐश्वर्या बुगडीकट्टी, ऐश्वर्या.
Present, sir.
ओके. अमानुल्ला जमादार, अमानुल्ला, अमानुल्ला जमादार, बंडोडकर तनय मोहनदास, बंडोडकर तनय मोहनदास, भावराव मोरे, भावराव, भावराव इज देयर. देसाई शोधन अशोक.
Present, sir.
ओके. देवानवर अनिल कुमार शेकप्पा, देवानवर अनिल कुमार शेकप्पा, नंद कुमार पाटिल, नंद कुमार पाटिल, प्रमोद केस्ती, प्रमोद केस्ती. ओके. रोहिणी पावळे, रोहिणी
Present,
पावळे.
sir.
ओके.
Present, sir.
राइट. रोहित लक्ष्मण अलवाणी, रोहित लक्ष्मण अलवाणी, शशिधर गौडर, शशिधर गौडर, शशिधर, श्रीधर बड़िगेर, श्रीधर बड़िगेर. Anybody joined just now? Within
Sir,
5
roll
minutes?
number 30.
Sir,
One by
sir,
one.
roll number 37.
1 minute. Shabaz. What is your roll number, Shabaz?
30, sir.
30. Okay.
Sir, roll number 26.
Vandana. Okay, 26. 1 minute. 26. Priyanka. Priyanka is there? Okay, right. Anybody
Sir,
else?
37.
37. I have marked. Yes, yes, I have marked. I have marked. Huh? Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes.
Sir, Srishti.
Srushti. Srushti is there. What is the roll number, Srushti?
Sir, 35.
35. Okay. 35 is Siddharth Patil. 1 minute. Srushti Barmanna or no?
Sir, 34.
33 it is. Srushti Barmanna. Huh? Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Anybody else? Anybody else joined? Okay. Strength is less today. Yes. Any reason? Strength is less today. Many of them are absent. Just inform your classmates not to remain absent. Just inform them and ask them to attend the classes regularly without missing a class, because if there is a miss in the class, they'll be missing a link between previous class and the next class, right? We'll start with the class. Screen is visible, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Which were the topics of the last class, students? What all we studied in the last class?
Stock pointer.
The first topic, stack pointer, correct.
Stack
So,
memory.
stack memory, yes. How do you define a stack? How do you define a stack? Definition of stack. Or what is a stack memory? Yes, please. Any idea? Anybody can answer here? How do you define stack? Or what is stack memory? What is a stack memory?
Last in, first out.
Memory. Yes, last in, first out memory. Why it is used? Why the stack is used?
To store and retrieve information quickly.
Correct. Exactly. To store and retrieve the information at a faster speed, we are making use of the stack memory. Okay. Which are the instructions that we are using to access and retrieve the information from the stack memory? Which are the two important instructions? Yes, please. Which are the two instructions that we are using?
Push and pop.
Exactly. Push and pop. The push instruction pushes the data into the stack memory, and the pop instruction reads the data from the stack memory. Okay. So these are the two important instructions that are associated with the accessing and retrieving of information from the stack memory. Okay. Now, when the microcontroller is powered up, which is the default memory location in which the data is stored, or which is the default memory location that the stack pointer register stores the memory location? When you turn on the microcontroller, which memory location of the stack memory is stored in the SP register, in the stack pointer register? Which memory location is stored? Yes. Which memory location is stored? Yes, please. Anybody else? Which is the default memory location stored in the stack pointer?
0, 0 to 0.
No, that is the range of the memory location. Okay, that is the total range of the memory location. That is nothing but if the stack pointer is of 8 bits, then it can access the memory location between 2 raised to 8, that many number of memory locations. But I am asking which is the memory location stored in SP register when you turn on the microcontroller.
-1.
No, 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 no. Not minus
2, 3, 4,
1.
5.
07H. 07H. In SP register, 07H of the internal RAM memory is stored in the SP register. Okay. And as you go on storing the data, first memory location that will be used is 08H. That is, it will increment the stack memory and then it will store the data. That concept I explained in the previous class. Is it not? It will first increment the stack memory and then it stores the data. While reading the data, it first reads the data and then decrements the memory location. Correct. So this stack memory is a part of the internal RAM memory. The stack memory is a part of internal RAM memory to read and retrieve the information at a faster speed. Is it clear, students? So this is about the stack memory. Then after discussion of the stack memory, we discussed about external memory interfacing. Yes or no? What is meant by interfacing 8051 microcontroller with external memory? What is this term interfacing? Connecting, exactly. Yes. So external memory interfacing or interfacing means the 8051 microcontroller is connected to the EEPROM memory or to the RAM memory. So if you are using the EEPROM memory, then there are a few pins that you have to understand, you have to know in order to read the data from the EEPROM memory or write the data into the EEPROM memory. Okay. Then if similarly, if you want to read the data from the RAM memory, that is data memory, then there are few pins which are unique pins which you have to know in order to read or write the data into the RAM memory, right? Then the next topic was instructions used to access the internal and external memory. There were few instructions that were used for accessing the external memory, right? Can you give me a few instructions? Can you mention few instructions here? Instructions used for accessing external memory? Yes, any one instruction from anyone of you all? Yes, please. Any one instruction? MOVX A comma at RI, right? MOVX A comma at RI for accessing the external data memory. Then we also have for external data memory, okay, external memory MOVX A comma at DPTR, correct? MOVX A comma at DPTR, then MOVX at DPTR comma A. Then if you are using the ROM memory, then the instruction that is used is MOVC, move code, MOVC A comma at A plus PC, right? That is how we are using few instructions in order to read and write the data into the internal and external RAM and ROM memory. Clear, students? So these were the topics that we discussed in the previous class. Next, in continuation with that, next we will see external memory timing. What is meant by timing? All of you know the timing diagram, right? You might have studied in your digital system design these timing diagrams. Okay, so these timing diagrams are meant to explain how the memory operation takes place, how the reading of data from the memory or how the data writing into the memory takes place. Okay, so this is the figure or the diagram, timing diagram, which explains about that. Here shown are port 0, port 2, right? Port 0 and port 2 are shown. We know that every port is of 8 bits or 8 pins, right? And we have come across the term called as multiplexing. We know the term multiplexing associated with the reading and writing of data from the memory. On port 0, first the lower byte of address information is sent. So this is port 0, right? Here lower byte of address, that is A0 to A7 is first sent on port 0, right? Then on port 2, the higher byte of data is sent, higher address information is sent, that is A8 to A15. Okay, higher address information or higher memory location A8 to A15 is sent on port 2. Fine. Then in the second memory cycle, in the next memory cycle, what will happen is the data will be sent on the port 0. That means the port 0 is meant to send the lower byte of address information and also the data information. Okay, data information. This concept is called as multiplexing. This concept is called as multiplexing. Okay. here to access this information, to read or write the data into the ROM and RAM memory, we are using the ALE pin, address/enable pin. So this ALE pin, when it is activated, when it goes low, it is active low pin. What will happen? The address information will be latched into the latch. We have come across the latch 74373 latch in our discussion in the previous class, right? So there, this information of the address, lower byte address, will be latched into the latch. Okay, then the higher byte of address is sent. After sending the higher byte in the second memory cycle, in the second clock cycle, what is done is the data information will be sent D0 to D7 on port 0. Suppose if you want to read the data from ROM memory using PSEN, if you want to read the data from ROM memory using PSEN, PSEN is program store enable pulse or program store enable pin. This is active low pin. You have to make it grounded. You have to ground it, or you have to send a low pulse to this PSEN bar pin. When you send a low pulse to this PSEN bar pin, then whatever data is stored in the ROM memory, that can be read. You can read the data from the ROM memory by activating low on this PSEN bar pin. Okay, if you activate low this PSEN bar pin, if you send a low pulse to this PSEN bar pin, you can read the data from the ROM memory. That is reading data from ROM memory using PSEN. Right? This is one part. Then another part is reading the data and writing the data from the RAM memory. If you want to read the data from RAM memory, then we know that the pins that are used for RAM memory are RD bar and WR bar pins. If you want to read the data, send a low pulse to RD bar pin of RAM memory so that you can read the data from the RAM memory. And if you want to write the data into the RAM memory, send a low pulse to the WR bar pin of the RAM memory so that you can write the data into the RAM memory. Clear, students? This is how this timing diagram of the external memory explains us how to read and write the data, what are the signals that are associated, which are the ports that are associated for reading and writing the data from the RAM and ROM memory. Clear, students? That is the explanation is being mentioned here. Figure above shows the timing associated with the external memory's access cycle. During any memory access cycle, that is code memory or data memory, memory may be code memory or data memory. Code memory is ROM memory and data memory is RAM memory. That is, you are storing the instructions or the program in ROM memory and you are storing the data in the data memory. Port 0 is time multiplex. It is multiplexing concept. That is, it first provides the lower byte of the 16-bit address, that is A0 to A7, then acts as a bidirectional to write or read a byte of memory data. That is, port 0 is acting like a bidirectional. It is meant for reading the data from the memory and also to write the data into the memory. So it is bidirectional. It is in both the ways, both the directions. Port 2 provides high byte of the memory address during the entire memory read or write cycle. Port 2 will be providing the higher byte of the memory location during the reading operation or the writing operation of the memory. The lower address byte from port 0 must be latched where this address information of lower byte is stored. It is latched into an external register to save the byte, to save the lower byte of address information. That is memory address, lower byte is stored in the register first. This is accomplished by the ALE clock pulse. We send a clock pulse on the ALE pin, address/enable bar pin, address/enable bar pin. We send a low pulse that provides the correct timing for the 7373 type data latch. That is, the timing is maintained by this ALE pin and the 74373 latch. Both together maintain the timing at what time the data has to be stored or the address information has to be stored. That timing part is maintained by, it is controlled by this ALE and the 74373 data latch. The port 0 pins then become free to serve as a data bus. So once the address information is sent from port 0, is latched onto the register, then this port 0 becomes free to send the data, to send the data information. If the memory access is for a byte of program code in the ROM, the PSEN pin will go low to enable the ROM to place a byte of program code on the data bus. That is what it is. If you want to read the data from the ROM memory, then this PSEN bar pin should go low. It is active low pin. Similarly, if you want to write the data or read the data from RAM memory, the memory access is for a RAM byte. The WR, that is write, and RD, the read pins will go low, enabling data to flow between the RAM and the data bus. Clear, students? This was about the external memory timing. Next is one of the important part of the 8051 microcontroller. It is 8051 oscillator circuit. There are two oscillator pins, right? Which are the two oscillator pins, students? Yes. Which are the two oscillator pins? Oscillator pins. Yes, Xtal 1 and Xtal 2. Okay, oscillator pins. These are called as oscillator pins. Pin number 18 and pin number 19. Pin number 18 is Xtal 2 pin and pin number 19 is Xtal 1 pin. I have shown here. 18 is Xtal 2 and 19 is Xtal 1. So this is the crystal that is connected. This is a crystal that is connected, and there are capacitors that are connected here in the circuit. So this forms the oscillator circuit to generate the oscillations or the clock cycles. The oscillations are formed by the crystal which is connected between the oscillator pins 18 and 19, that is Xtal 2 and Xtal 1, along with the capacitors. So 8051 microcontroller has oscillator clock circuit, which is heart of the microcontroller. The heart of 8051 is the circuit that generates the clock pulses by which all internal operations are synchronized. Why this clock circuit is necessary, students? Because there are many operations that are carried out by the microcontroller. In order to synchronize the operations, that is, it will control which operation should be executed first, which operation should be executed second, which operation should be executed next. So that part is controlled by the clock circuit or the oscillator circuit. Okay, so this is hence called as heart of the 8051 microcontroller. Pins Xtal 1, that is pin number 19, and Xtal 2, pin number 18, are provided for connecting a resonant network to form an oscillator. Okay, typically, usually what is done is quartz crystal is used for the oscillator circuit, and the capacitors are also used. But sometimes ceramic crystal can also be used. Ceramic resonators or ceramic crystals can also be used as low cost alternative to the crystal resonators. Ceramic resonators have less cost and they can also be used instead of using the quartz crystal. But the disadvantage of ceramic resonators is that they are having less accuracy and less reliability. Okay, during serial communication, which requires certain critical timing, that is important timing operations to be carried out during serial communication, that time the ceramic resonator will have lesser reliability and lesser accuracy. That is the disadvantage of the ceramic resonator, and hence we are usually using the quartz crystal but not the ceramic resonators. However, low degree of frequency stability and accuracy make the ceramic resonators poor choice for serial communication with other systems or critical timing when serial communication is performed or critical timing is to be done. The crystal frequency, the frequency of the crystal is nothing but the clock frequency. The frequency with which this crystal oscillates or vibrates, it is nothing but the clock frequency of the microcontroller. I told you all in the previous class the clock frequency of the microcontroller. How much is the clock frequency of the microcontroller, students? How much it is? Clock frequency of the microcontroller 11.0592 megahertz. Is it not? Correct? Yes or no? 11.0592 megahertz. Manufacturers, they manufacture the microcontroller which are having the minimum and maximum frequency of 1 megahertz to 16 megahertz. That is, the minimum frequency is 1 megahertz and they can manufacture the maximum frequency of the microcontroller up till 16 megahertz. Usually 12 megahertz crystals are used because they are convenient. Why they are convenient? Because the time of machine cycle will be 1 microsecond. Okay, time per machine cycle will be 1 microsecond. So this time for machine cycle is calculated using the formula 12 divided by f. 12 divided by f. F is the crystal frequency. Now if I perform 12 divided by 12 megahertz, how much it is? Yes, please. 12 divided by 12 megahertz. How much is the answer? 12 divided by 12 megahertz. How much it will come? Calculate and tell me. Yes. 12 divided by 12 megahertz.
1 microsecond.
1 microsecond, exactly. So it will be 1 microsecond. So the time of, we'll come to this discussion of machine cycle in the next topic. We'll be discussing that. So the time of one machine cycle or the clock cycle is 1 microsecond. So it is easy to generate this 1 microsecond delay, okay, of the machine cycle. And hence we are using the crystal which is having 12 megahertz frequency. This is the timing in 8051 microcontroller, which shows the number of clock pulses or the oscillator frequency. You can see here in this oscillator frequency there are number of clock pulses, right? And each state has 2 clock pulses. Can you see that? Each state 1 has 2 clock pulses, state 2 has 2 clock pulses, state 3 2 clock pulses, and so on. Okay, that means in one machine cycle, as you can see here, in one machine cycle there are 6 states. There are 6 states, state 6 in one machine cycle. That means for one state there are 2 clock pulses. Therefore, for 6 states there will be 12 clock pulses. One machine cycle, 6 states, that is 12 clock pulses. Because one state is equal to 2 clock pulses, therefore one machine cycle, 6 states, that will be 6 into 2 clock pulses, that is 12 clock pulses. Is it not? This is the address latch enable in order to enable the timing operation. Okay. So the above figure shows timing waveform for the 8051 microcontroller. What are the timing details then? Clock pulse or the pulse time. The pulse time is nothing but the duration of the every pulse of the clock. The duration of every pulse of the clock is called as the pulse time. It is called as P time, okay, or the pulse time. Fine. State. What is a state? A state is the time interval to perform a single operation, that is either fetch operation or decode operation or executing operation. So to perform either fetch or decode or executing operation, how much time is required? Okay, that is called as state. 2 clock pulses define a single state. That you can see here, one state is equal to 2 clock pulses. Therefore, one state is equal to 2 clock pulses. Okay. Next, machine cycle. So you all understood the concept definitions here, students. One is clock pulse, which is nothing but the duration of the pulse or the time of the pulse. State is the time taken to perform one operation, either fetch operation or decode operation or execution. Then 2 clock pulses is equal to 1 state, or 1 state is equal to 2 clock pulses. Okay. Then what is machine cycle? The time required to execute any instruction is called a machine cycle. The time that is necessary to execute any instruction is called as one machine cycle or a machine cycle. So this machine cycle, as we can see in this figure, one machine cycle is equal to 6 states. How many states? 6 states. One machine cycle is equal to 6 states, or that is nothing but 12 clock pulses. Correct. One machine cycle equal to 6 states. Therefore, one machine cycle is equal to 6 into 2 clock pulses, that is 12 clock pulses. Okay. Coming to the instruction timing. What is meant by instruction timing or timing of the instruction? Instruction timing is defined as the time taken to execute an instruction. How much time is taken to execute an instruction? So that timing is called as the timing of the instruction or instruction timing. Program instructions. Some instructions they require 1 memory machine cycle, some require 2 machine cycles, and some of them require 4 machine cycles. Okay. If you consider multiplication and division instruction, they require 4 machine cycles. So the highest machine cycles is for the multiplication and division operation in 8051 microcontroller. Okay. They take 4 machine cycles, multiplication and division instructions, right? Get executed depending upon the type of instruction. To calculate the time any instruction takes to be executed, find the number of cycles C the instruction takes. If we want to find how much is the time taken for executing an instruction, then we have to know the number of machine cycles that instruction takes first. Okay. So once we know the number of machine cycle that instruction takes, then we have to just substitute that number of machine cycles in this equation. What is the equation? Time for executing an instruction is given by C into 12 divided by crystal frequency, where C is the number of machine cycles, right? Therefore, you have to remember the machine cycles also, right? For example, for multiplication division, it is 4 machine cycles. Okay. For some other instructions, it may be 1 machine cycle. Few instructions have 2 machine cycles, like that. Clear? So here, if you want to calculate the time taken for that particular instruction, now for example, if you want to calculate for multiplication instruction, it takes 4 machine cycles. That means C is equal to 4. 4 into 12 divided by crystal frequency. How much is the crystal frequency? Let us assume that as 12 megahertz. Actual value of crystal frequency of 805 microcontroller is 11.0592 megahertz. But for calculation purpose, for convenience, okay, for easy calculation purpose, we are assuming the crystal frequency as 12 megahertz. Clear? So C into 12 divided by 12 megahertz. C is 4. C is 4 here. So 4 into 12 divided by 12 megahertz. 12 and 12 will cancel. So 4 divided by 1 megahertz. 4 divided by 1 megahertz is 1 megahertz is 10 raised to 6. If it comes to the numerator, it will be how much? 10 raised to minus 6. So that will be 4 microseconds. That will be 4 microseconds. That means the time taken to execute an instruction will be 4 microseconds for multiplication and division instructions. Clear, students? Next, we will see PSW register. It is in full form. It is called as Program Status Word Register. Program Status Word Register. Expansion of PSW is Program Status Word Register. Right? This program status word is bit addressable. Bit addressable means you can read these single bits at a time, or you can write into single bits at a time in this 8-bit register. You can read any one of the 8 bits out of the 8 bits of PSW register, or you can write into any one of these memory locations or these bits in the 8-bit PSW register. That is why it is called as bit addressable. Byte addressable means what, students? Byte addressable means you can read all the 8 bits of that register, or you can write into all the 8-bit memory locations of that register. Okay, that is called as byte addressable. Carry flag. This is PSW.7. Okay, so PSW.7 means here this is PSW.0 LSB bit. This PSW is program status word register. The first bit of PSW register is PSW.0. PSW.0 means it is parity flag. This is for the parity flag, right? So this is for the parity flag, that is LSB, least significant bit. The next bit will be what? PSW.1. Next bit, first bit. Okay, so this is as good as you write D0, D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7. You write it, no, for the individual bits. In a similar way, we write it as PSW.0, PSW.1, PSW.2, PSW.6, PSW.7, like that. Okay, so PSW.0 means it is nothing but it is referring to the least significant bit or the first bit of the PSW register, of that register. So this first bit is parity bit, like that. The 7th bit is PSW.7. 7th bit or the 8th bit, because it is the MSB, most significant bit. It is PSW.7, carry flag. Fine. So this carry flag will indicate whether there is a carry generated after you add two 8-bit numbers. I give an example here. So this is how you are adding the two 8-bit numbers. This is one 8-bit number, 1001, 0001. You are adding with 1000, 0101, 8-bit numbers. Now when you add 1 with 1, 0, you get 1 carry. So 0 plus 1, 1, 0 plus 0, 0, 1 plus 0, 1, 0 plus 0, 0. This is 0 with 0, 0, 1 plus 1, 0 with 1 carry. Now when you add this MSB bit, when you are adding the MSB bit of 2 data or 2 bytes, there is a carry generated from this MSB bit. Okay, 1 plus 1 is 0 with 1 carry, and hence the carry flag will be set. This CY register carry flag will be set whenever there is a carry generated after adding the most significant bits or the D7th bit. Clear, students? Here carry generated out of D7 bit is 1, hence flag register CY will be equal to 1. Next, AC. The next bit is AC. It is called auxiliary carry flag. Full form of AC is auxiliary carry flag. It is next bit, PSW.6. So what is the auxiliary carry flag? Let us see that. Here I have given an example. let us consider two 8-bit numbers again, 0010 1001 plus 0010 1010. Now I'm adding these two 8-bit numbers. 1 plus 0 is 1, 0 plus 1 is 1. So this is 0 with 0 is 1, 1 plus 1 is 0 with 1 carry. So when I add this D3 bit, D1 into D3 bit, when I add this to the D4 bit, next bit I am getting 1. D3 bit, when I am adding 1 plus 1, 0. To the next bit I am getting 1. Okay, higher bit. Here carry generated from D3 bit to D4 bit is 1. Hence the bit stored in flag register auxiliary carry flag will be 1. Okay, so this is the how the auxiliary carry flag works. Alright, so in the auxiliary carry flag, if there is a carry generated from D3 bit to D4 bit, D3 bit to D4 bit, then the auxiliary carry flag will be set. Otherwise, it will be 0. You may ask me when auxiliary carry flag will be 0. If there is no carry generated, suppose if there is a 0 here, 1 plus 0 is 1. So no carry generated from D3 to D4. Okay, then the auxiliary carry flag will be 1. EC flag will be, sorry, 0. Auxiliary carry flag will be 0. Okay, if it is generating a carry, then the auxiliary carry flag will be set. If it is not generating the carry, then the auxiliary carry flag will be 0. F0 PSW 0.5 flag 0 available to the user for general purpose. So this is the flag which is available, or the bit that is available for general purpose applications. RS1 is PSW 0.4 register bank selector bit 1. Okay, let us see that. Here I have formed a table here to explain RS1 and RS0. RS0 is PSW 0.3 is register bank selector bit 0. That is here I have indicated. Then OE is overflow flag. Okay, so RS1 and RS0 register bank select bit 1, RS register bank select bit 0. Right now, if both are 0 0, if both are 0 0, register bank 0 is selected. Register bank 0 is selected. If RS1 is 0, RS0 is 1, then register bank 1 will be selected. Register bank 1 will be selected. If it is 1 0, if it is 1 0, then register bank 2 will be selected. If it is 1 1, then 1 1 is equivalent to decimal 3. Register bank 3 will be selected. Okay, 0 0 in decimal is 0, 0 1 in decimal is 1, 1 0 in decimal is 2, 1 1 in decimal is 3. So these register banks will be selected based on the bits of RS1 and RS0. Now, which is the memory location for register bank 0? It is 00 to 07H. We have studied the structure of internal RAM memory. RAM memory is organized into 3 blocks. The first block is working registers. That is, these R0 and R7 registers. There are 4 register banks, as you are seeing here. Register bank 0, register bank 1, register bank 2, and register bank 3. There are 4 register banks. Each register bank is having 8 registers. Each register bank is having 8 registers. So totally 8 into 4, that is 32 registers. 32 registers. Clear, students? So these are the memory locations of these register banks that we have already seen when we were discussing the internal RAM memory organization of the RAM memory. Then overflow flag, OV PSW 0.2. Overflow flag. Overflow flag, this is this bit, OV here. Overflow flag. If there is an overflow condition, if you are storing more than FFH into some register, then the data stored or the overflow condition occurs, because of which OV will be equal to 1. Then in F1 is nothing but flag 1 available to the user for general purpose. So this is the flag bit used for the general purpose applications as that of F0. And the P is PSW 0.0, that is parity flag. This is set or cleared by the hardware to indicate odd or even number of ones in the accumulator. Accumulator is A register. If in the accumulator, if there are even number of ones, okay, suppose say the data is, suppose let us take this example here. Now here, how many number of ones are there in this result? There are 1 2 3 4 4 ones are there. So it is even parity. Okay, let us take the one more example. Here also there are 4 ones, right? Then here just see this data 1001 0001. There are 3 ones. Okay, so it is odd parity. If the number of ones in the data is even, then it is even parity. The number of ones in the data is odd, then it is odd parity. Okay. F1 is PSW 0.1, flag F1 available to the user for general purpose. Then P is PSW 0.0, this bit, LSB bit, it is for the parity flag. Clear, students? This is about the PSW register. Carry flag we have seen auxiliary carry flag, parity flag, and overflow flag. This is the IO port structure. This we will take up in the next class. Okay. So any questions, students, in today's class? Any questions? If you have any questions, you can ask. Yes? Any questions? Students, any questions here?
No, sir.
Just check if you have any questions, any doubts, right? Any clarifications, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, no. Which is the heart of the microcontroller? Heart of the microcontroller? Which part is regarded as heart of the microcontroller? Yes? Which circuit is called as the heart of the microcontroller?
Oscillator circuit.
It's an oscillator circuit, exactly. Fine. What is one machine cycle? What is what is the definition of machine cycle? What is machine cycle? Machine cycle means what? One machine cycle is equal to how many clock pulses?
12 clock.
12 clock pulses, right? One state is equal to 2 clock pulses. 6 machine cycles, that states means 6 into 2, that is 12 clock pulses, correct? So one machine cycle is equal to 6 states. One state is equal to 2 clock pulses. So 6 states means 6 into 2, 12 clock pulses, correct? How do you define instruction timing? What is meant by instruction timing? Instruction timing means what? Yes,
C into
yes.
12, right?
Very
Crystal
good.
frequency.
C into 12 divided by crystal frequency. Fine. Now this instruction timing is the time taken to execute any instruction. If we substitute the number of machine cycles, C value, then the time taken to execute the instruction will be C into 12 divided by F. Okay, that will give us the time taken to execute any instruction, right? Then later we took up the PSW register and we discussed the various bits of the PSW register. Okay. So this is all for the today's class, students. In the next class, I'll be discussing about the IO port structure, right? And then the working or the function of this IO port, how it will function or how it will work. That we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Thank you.